Kia ora, my name is Arun Jacob, and I'm a licensed New Zealand immigration advisor as well as international education advisor. I'm based in the city of Hamilton in New Zealand, and my team and I we work with a lot of international students. This message is for all you young people who are planning to become international students and go to different countries and get yourself a good education and possibly a great career as well going forward. I have been in this industry of advising international students for the last 15 years, and from my own understanding, international students, a majority of them are not looking at going to a country and just get a fancy degree and go back to their country, but they hope to stay back in the country where they have, invested money, time, and effort, and would like to not only get a very good degree but also be able to get some work experience and possibly even work there for a few years. Some of them might even desire to stay back in that country if they like the environment, and they might desire to become permanent residents or even future citizens of the country. So, choosing the country becomes very, very important for international students. Besides all those elements of education and career and earning, there are other elements that should be considered in a country, and some of them are the aspect of safety, the aspect of a welcoming nature, a friendly society, and a free culture which doesn't curb your rights or your independence. And so these are some of the more critical components as well that one needs to consider. So when you look at all these aspects, and you also throw in other elements like good weather and a nice ambience overall in that country, New Zealand stands out very, very strongly as a favored destination. Let's examine why. Now, New Zealand has been attracting the most number of migrants amongst all the OECD countries. And as you would know, OECD countries are those countries which are considered the most developed countries in the world. So, New Zealand has, in the recent past, been attracting the most number of migrants to come into its territory as compared to most other OECD countries. What does it mean? It means that we have a requirement, we have a need for migrants in this country, and so we're keeping the gates open for good quality, skilled people to come into the country and acquire those positions and fulfill those skill shortages that we have in the country. So New Zealand, in fact, officially publishes lists called long-term skill shortages, immediate shortages, as well as Canterbury skill shortages. And very soon they're also going to introduce something called the regional skill shortages for pertaining to different regions in the country. So this really is a statement from the government of New Zealand saying, hey guys, we are a growing economy, but we don't have enough people, so we would like to attract good skills into the country. And who better than an international student who is willing to come and study in New Zealand, imbibe yourself into the culture and the work environment, get yourself a local degree, create your networks, and then pathway yourself into work. I think international students are beautifully suited to fulfill these skill shortages that we have in New Zealand, and it also benefits New Zealand because we are not getting fresh people who do not understand the country, but people who are coming as international students, being here for a period of time, understanding what the country is all about, and then entering the workforce. So I think it is a great match between the desire of international students to not only study but to work and acquire work experience or future residency and citizenship, and a country like New Zealand which is trying very, very hard to attract good skills. So that is possibly the most important reason that you must consider New Zealand, because we have a clearly published need, clearly published requirement from the government itself saying that we require skilled migrants. And if you look at it, the student education structure itself encourages students to stay on and work, because if you study at a particular level of course in New Zealand, you pretty much automatically get something called a post-study work visa, which allows you to stay and train and pick up employment related to your course. And once you do that, there is a possibility you will get further work visas, or you could even go ahead and apply for your residency. So there is a very, very clear match between those requirements of international students as well as the requirement of New Zealand. So this is reason number one. The second reason that you must consider New Zealand strongly as a destination is, yeah, it's all well and good to think, oh, a country requires people or skilled migrants. But what about the visa processes? Now, from my experience again of having traveled quite a lot across different parts of the world, I must confess that I did not find the visa processes of many countries to be fair. And I think these processes are quite rigid and do not give the opportunity for a person to project their case in the right manner and get a fair decision. Now, having been involved with the Immigration Department of New Zealand for the last 15 years, as somebody who has been putting forward applications to this department, I can tell you, looking you straight in the eye, that this department is possibly one of the fairest government organizations anywhere across the world. There is a very clear, defined process, which again is published data, which says if you match this particular criteria, then the government of New Zealand will consider your visa application very, very favorably. So, for international students who prepare for months and years together, sometimes I think it's very, very important that you work with a fair immigration system. And New Zealand absolutely promises and guarantees you a fair immigration system. In fact, the very first statement in the entire immigration system of New Zealand is fairness and natural justice. And I strongly believe and advocate the thought that the immigration system of New Zealand is very fair towards international students. And this should be your second reason why you choose New Zealand as your destination. The third reason why you must consider New Zealand as a destination is to imagine the worst case scenario. Now, yes, everybody has got great aspirations. Everybody is confident that they will do well. But what happens if you do come to New Zealand and you complete your course and you are simply not able to find employment that matches your course that you have completed? That could be a worst case scenario. But the beauty of doing a course in New Zealand at a particular level is that irrespective of whether you find relevant employment or not, which is related to your course, you still have a 1 year post-study work visa if you're studying the right level of course. So you really have a whole year of a open work visa, which allows you to pretty much do any job that you like, and 1 year of full-time work as well. There are no restrictions. So if you are willing to work hard and invest those extra hours, you could very well possibly earn back the investment you've made into your course and be able to go back to your home country with not just having recovered the amount of money that you invested into your New Zealand education, but also with 2 years of experience of being in one of the most beautiful countries on earth. 1 year as a student, during which you're also been working part-time and supporting yourself, and 1 year as a full-time worker, and you're able to recover your investment as well. So this is possibly another very, very good reason to consider New Zealand as a destination if you're an international student. Some of the other reasons that you must consider coming to New Zealand is also a beautiful work-life balance. This country believes in not stressing itself too much out, and this whole society is geared towards maintaining that nice work-life balance, which is why it is also a great destination for international students who are not single but married, because there's also this beautiful policy where if there is a married couple and if the first partner is picking up a particular level of course in New Zealand, the other spouse can technically get a full-time work visa. So you can have a situation where one partner is working full-time and earning, and the other partner is studying and also working part-time. And if they have kids, by virtue of the fact that one of the partners has got a full-time work visa, the kids are also eligible to get free education in New Zealand. So I think it's a great opportunity. And coming to PhD students, they get the same fees as domestic students. And if your proposal is really good, there is a very good chance that you might also get a grant and a full scholarship. Plus, you would also get full-time work rights. If you are coming with your spouse, the spouse will get full-time working rights. And the possibility of staying on back in the country is very high, because we are also trying to attract researchers into New Zealand. So that's another very, very important reason as well. Some of the other reasons you must consider New Zealand is, of course, the absolutely beautiful environment that we live in. This is considered God's own country and possibly one of the most beautiful countries on earth. So the sheer joy of living in a country like that is amazing. Not to forget that we are also one of the safest countries on earth. I'm sure you've never ever heard of any terrorist activities in New Zealand or any massive gun culture in New Zealand, and those kinds of incidents really don't happen in this country. We are also possibly one of the most outdoors sort of a country, which gives ample opportunities for international students to get out there and live the good life. It is also a very gender equal country, and in fact, New Zealand was the first country to grant voting rights to women. So it is also a great destination for girl students to come in to New Zealand. It is also very free and equal as a society. There is gender equality. There is religious freedom, and nobody even discriminates against your sexual orientation. In fact, New Zealand is one of those few countries which has also legalized same-sex marriage. So overall, it is a fantastic, inviting destination. Those are the reasons for choosing the right country. Now, what about the company that's going to take you into the right country, which in this case is New Zealand? Well, you will need to work with a company or a consultant or an agency which will ensure that your interests are kept ahead of the profit motives of that particular company. Now, my organization, which is called AJV Services, we are a New Zealand based company. We are based in New Zealand, and which means that we are present on the ground here in New Zealand to receive you and ensure that your journey in New Zealand is well taken care of. Our team consists of people like myself, who is a licensed immigration advisor, which means we are able to guide you and support you throughout your journey and assist you with further visas and ongoing advice and support here in New Zealand. I don't want to sound immodest in stating this, but we are brutally honest and very, very transparent with all our clients. So there are absolutely no hidden agendas with our clients, and which is the reason we have no problem in stating that if you choose not to work with an organization or a company like AJV, which is not based in New Zealand, I think you will not get the support you require once you land in the country, and the real drama, the real challenges actually start once you land here in the country. And the third reason why I think you should consider working with AJV is because we also provide all our clients the convenience of working to your time zones and in your place, because we are very, very tech savvy and we utilize all the available technology to be able to connect with you and process your admission and student visa, irrespective of whichever country you are based in. We have been fortunate to work with students from different parts of the world, including Brazil and Egypt and Yemen and Iran and Pakistan and Sri Lanka and India and Nepal and Philippines, and pretty much practically every country across the world. We've been receiving inquiries and we have been very happily processing these applications. So we invite you to consider working with a company like AJV, which is based in New Zealand and ready to hold your hand and guide you throughout your entire journey. In conclusion, I think it's very important for you as a prospective international student to choose the right country and to choose the right consultant. And if you choose New Zealand as your country and AJV Services based in New Zealand as your consultant, I do not think you will go wrong. So consider this seriously, the combination of New Zealand as your country and AJV as your consultant, and that combination can lead to the big S, which is success, which is what you're looking for, and we'll be very, very glad to assist you. Please share this video with your family and friends, and if you would like to start the process, please fill the form beneath this video, and our policy says that we will process all student admission and visas free of cost unless and until you've had some prior visa rejections. In that case, we will assess to see if there is a cost that we need to incur to process your application, and we'll be open and honest in telling you what those costs will also be. So look forward to working with you, and like we say here in New Zealand, haere mai ki Aotearoa, or welcome to New Zealand, and we look forward to working with you as AJV Services. Thanks for watching my video. Kia ora.